our videos, please subscribe the channel and please like it and share among with your friends also. It will be help us to grow. Now, question is that in the last day we have discussed about the pollen grains. Now today we will discuss about the uses of the pollen grains. Last day we have discussed about the structures of the pollen grain, and today we will discuss about the uses of the pollen grains. Now here pollen grain, there is any use for us? It's a big question. For plant definitely it's important. It helps in pollinations or it helps in the fertilization. But for us it is helpful. Yes, in the forthcoming lecture we will come to know that one. These pollen grains are also helpful and as well as also they are dangerous for us. Now first look into the danger aspect. Now what happens here, I would like to say there is one grass is there, it's called as Parthenium or carrot grass, and this carrot grass is not a native species of India. It came to India through wheat contamination with wheat. मतलब क्या है, जो wheat के साथ है, wheat के साथ contamination as a contaminant it came to India, and in India it's got a suitable climatic conditions and it grows havocly in India. Now the grains, pollen grains of the Parthenium, it causes some bronchitis and as well as some allergic reactions and some types of the severe respiratory disease also they caused. That means what happens, the pollen grains, they can causes the lesions or damage in the bronchitis, okay. Then also they can create severe types of the respiratory disorder and like our asthma and sometimes also allergic reactions. Now here if you come, what is the use of the pollen grain for plant? Now what happens, inside the pollen grains there is a presence of the reserved food material, and as there is a presence of the reserved food material, so what will happen, that pollen grain it will give nutrition, and due to that one this pollen grain can be used for our purpose also. Clear? Like that, suppose here if you write that pollen grain it contains nutrients, and that nutrients also useful for us, not directly, indirectly. Like these nutrients, okay, can be used as a medicines or can be taken, okay, or pollen grain can be taken to increase the stamina in the horse race, okay, or in the athlete. To increase the stamina, generally we are using the pollen grain, correct? So pollen grain, why you are using? To in horse race and as well as in those are the athlete race, those are doing athlete, for them also these pollen grains are much more important. Now in the European country, this pollen grains it's available in the market in the form of tablet, in the form of the syrup, in form of the cream, in form of the powder. So this over there these pollen grains are readily available in the Western countries, okay, or in the European countries it's readily available. Clear? Now here this pollen grain. Now what are the uses of the pollen grains that we have discussed over here? Correct? First we discussed that one, the pollen grains can be used for the horse race, for increasing the stamina in the horse, or for increasing the stamina in athlete. Okay, the pollen grains are used. Next is that one, the pollen grains can be taken in the form of tablets, okay, in the form of tablets, then in the form of syrup, okay, and in the form of cream, in the form of jelly. It's readily available in the Western countries. Now here this pollen grains, if you come, now for how many days the pollen grain it will be viable in the environment after their releasing? It's also depend on few factors. So the viability means, here I want to say, suppose this is a plant, okay, suppose this is a plant, think from this plant this pollen grain released, and after the releasing of the pollen grain, how many days this pollen grain can be viable or it will be remain viable in environment, okay. Viable means कितना दिन तक और कितना समय तक ये pollen grain environment में viable मतलब potentially रह सकता है, correct? ये हम लोग को जानना बहुत जरूरी है. So here let's comes to the viability of the pollen grains. So here if we come, so there we get that the pollen grains can be remain viable, it's depend on 2-3 factors that we have to discuss here. Now if we come over here, the viability. Okay, viability means after releasing into environment, how many days the pollen grain will be remain active, how many days the pollen grain will remain fertile, strong in the environments. So this viability, it's depend on 2 factors. One is the internal factor and next is the external factors. Okay, so this viability, it's depend upon the internal factor and the external factor. So what are the internal factors? Suppose the pollen grain genetically they are strong enough. Okay, they are strong enough, they can be remain in the environment for long time. It's depend upon particular species of the particular plant, those are releasing the pollen grain. It's depend upon the genetic material of the pollen grain. Next is that one, suppose temperature, humidity, it's also depend upon, or it's also can alter the viability of the pollen grains. Common example I am giving you. Think about our rice. So once the pollen grains are released from the rice, that means इस rice से जब इस plant से जब pollen grain का release होता है, within 30 minutes the pollen grain will be remain okay, or pollen grain will remain viable in the environment, and within 30 minutes or after 30 minutes that pollen grain it will be just they will not be remain viable, their quality it will be also deteriorate. So that means within 30 minutes that pollen grain will be remain viable. But in some other species also the pollen grain can be remain viable for several times, for several days. Common examples, short form we will use, that is SLR. SLR means, don't think that one is a DSLR. I have written over here short form SLR. S means Solanaceae, family Solanaceae, like our potato. Then family Liliaceae, lily. And R means Rosaceae. It's a short form. I made that for my purpose, okay, to make you understand. S means Solanaceae, L means Liliaceae, and R means Rosaceae. So in this family, so once the pollen grain released, okay, into environment, that pollen grain can be remain viable for several days. For several days, there is a no fixed time is there. For several days, this pollen grain can be remain in the environment in viable condition. Now here, this pollen grain we can also store. Why? Because you know about the, in case of the human, we can store our gametes in not direct form. Suppose we can able to store sperm and egg. Okay, it's possible. So that method is known as cryo preservation. So by this method we'll able to store our sperm and the eggs. Why? So because in time of the artificial inseminations we can use these sperms and egg. Suppose सोचो किसी को sperm में problem है, तो we can take this sperm from the sperm bank. Same way we can take this egg from the bank, okay, egg banks. So that method is called as a cryopreservation. So same way also we can also store the pollen. Okay, why we'll store the pollen? So because we'll store the pollen to induce the plant breeding program. Okay, why we'll store the pollen? To induce the plant breeding program. So here also we can store pollen, but where we'll store? So we can store the pollen in pollen bank. In pollen bank, as we have SBI bank, sperm bank, okay, blood bank. So same way also we have pollen bank. So in that pollen bank we can store the pollen. But how can we store? There needs some medium. So that's why we are using liquid nitrogen. Okay, we are using liquid nitrogen. Why? Because the liquid nitrogen, they have temperature minus 196 डिग्री सेल्सियस, बहुत ठंडा होता है. सो इस टेम्परेचर में ये पोलन ग्रेन क्या होता है, रिमेन वायबल फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम. एंड आफ्टर एज पर आवर नेसेसिटी, हम लोग को जितना जरूरत पड़ेगा, एज पर आवर नेसेसिटी वी कैन टेक द पोलन ग्रेन फ्रॉम द पोलन बैंक एंड वी कैन इंड्यूस द प्लांट ब्रीडिंग program. Okay, we can use the, or we can induce the plant breeding program. Now here the pollen grain also have some other importance. Why? Because yesterday or in the last video we have discussed about that outer layer of the pollen grain is made up of sporopollenin. ऐसा कोई मतलब नॉन ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल नहीं है जो पोलन ग्रेन को और स्पोरोपोलेनिन को डाइजेस्ट कर सकता है. लाइक आवर किसी भी तरीके का एसिड, एल्कली, टेम्परेचर, कोई नॉन नहीं फैक्टर नहीं है जो स्पोरोपोलेनिन को डाइजेस्ट कर सकता है. इसके मतलब क्या है, सपोज सोचो पास्ट में कोई प्लांट्स रहता था तो उस प्लांट्स के बारे में जानना है. So that's the best thing is the study the pollen grains, and that's why in case of our paleobotany, what is the paleobotany? Paleobotany means we have to read the fossils of the plant species. In case of the paleobotany, the pollen grain is the very important component because the pollen grain will be remain active or it will not be destroyed and it will be remain in the soil for long time, or it will be remain in the rock for the long time because of the sporopollenin. Okay, today up to this much. In the next video we will discuss about the मैक्रोस्पोरोजेनेसिस. ओके, अब वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो कमेंट करके पूछो, लाइक करो, शेयर करो और सब्सक्राइब करना भूलना मत. टिल देन, थैंक यू एंड गुड बाय. स्टे हाई.